All right, what's up, guys? Cole, aka Proximitty here, bringing you a brand new video today. This is actually going to be a very different video than anything I've ever made. I want to try to break down why I believe, that most people believe, that the new Magnum only start in competitive settings are going to be really good, and try to ease the minds of the people that really freaked out. I don't want to come across as disrespectful. I'm not trying to grill anybody that thinks this is a bad idea. I actually just want to help people understand, for the people that are confused and or upset at the changes, why this is happening. And basically this is a response video to my previous upload, which was Halo 5 new HCS summer settings. I'm just going to be going down and breaking down. See, okay, it's actually really weird. I made that video just being excited about the new settings, and I actually got a lot of hate for it, and it's just been a lot of negative opinions from people, and a lot of people are upset. Now, first off, I just want to reinforce, I mentioned this in the previous video, but I'm going to reinforce, these are competitive settings. These are competitive settings that are going to be used in the competitive playlist, so if you don't actively compete or like to play competitive, it actually will not affect you whatsoever. If you are trying to compete, if you're trying to get better, if you're trying to play the competitive settings, it will affect you. If you don't, and you just like playing Warzone, or you just like playing Team Slayer, or you just like playing SWAT, or whatever it is you like playing, this isn't going to change anything for you. Everything's going to stay exactly the same. So I think that just, if you guys understand that, that's going to ease the minds of a lot of people, because this is only going to affect the main competitive playlist, which is Team Arena or Proving Grounds. I think they're going to test it in Proving Grounds, and eventually it should become the Team Arena playlist. It is going to be one game type, and that's it. So I actually want to address a few comments here that I have on my video and kind of talk about some of the concerns that people do have, and I can help break down exactly what's going on with it. So this accusation here is one that I keep seeing. How about you get good with all the weapons? This no AR thing should only go in Proving Grounds. Yeah, okay. Basically, somebody is mentioning that if you're good enough and you hit your shots, you can beat the AR at close range. That is true, but think about this for a second. The reason why this is good is because if you are in a close range fight versus the AR, the person using the AR, like let's say you have your Magnum out, another person has the AR out. The person with the AR has a much easier time getting the kill because they don't have to aim anywhere near as accurately. Their shooting is going to be a ton easier than the person using the Magnum, and that is why it's not a good idea, and this is why it's a problem, because one person has a clear advantage than the other person, and that would be fine, all well and dandy, except that's not a power weapon. The AR is something you spawn with, and that is why it's unbalanced. If it was a power weapon like the shotgun or the rocket launcher, it makes complete sense. But when you always have it, you know, it is a bit of kind of just, that's not great for competitive. It doesn't balance the game well. A lot of games are dictated by individual one-on-one gunfights, and that is something that kind of breaks that whenever a lot of the skill out of the gunfights gets taken away when one person can use the AR. Now, I know some people are going to immediately think that, well, part of the skill is knowing when and when not to have your AR out. Well, that's true, but here's the thing. It's not difficult to know when and when not to have your AR out. If that were something difficult to learn, then I would maybe, you know, have some sort of empathy towards that. I could agree with you there, but I don't, because everybody spawns with the AR, and it's very simple to figure out that when you're in close range, the AR is easier to use than it is the Magnum. So it's not like it's a hard decision to make, like whenever you have the sniper and the Magnum, and people who've been playing for years and experienced players who have grinded the game, you know, after being in the situations multiple times, eventually start making really intelligent decisions on when to have their sniper out and when to have their Magnum out. The AR is basically just, you see somebody on your radar, pull out your AR, and that is too easy. That doesn't, there's no skill there. Everybody knows whenever people get close, they pull out their auto. So there's no like, oh, one person's better than the other because they had their gun out the right situation. Like, if I'm trying to push into a certain base with my Magnum out and somebody's crouching in the corner with the AR, I'm expected to win that gunfight with the Magnum? I'm not, and I'm not going to. And that's what's kind of stupid, because you automatically have a huge advantage off spawn. Now, imagine if both players had only a Magnum. The person who was crouching in the corner would also have a very difficult time getting the kill. And the person who hit the better shots is the person that's going to win that encounter. I actually have a few examples here that I want to run down and basically show what I mean, where if autos were in the game here, I would die 100% of the time to these situations, but I actually am able to live because there are no autos in this situation. This is from the video that I uploaded, and this is no radar and no auto starts. So forget the radar aspect of it, just pay attention to the fact that we are playing with no autos. I want to show you guys where a situation where I should definitely die, or I would definitely die. I don't mean should. I would 100% die if somebody had an AR. So here, I get away. I'm absolute. You can see right here. I'm very weak. Okay, I know he's chasing me, so I pop this nade, and look what happens. He shoots at me like 4 times and misses every shot. He had to use his Magnum in that situation, and he choked. He hit me 1 time. It took down some of my health, but he didn't hit me in the head. And I was able to hit my shots and win that gunfight. I would die 100% of the time in this situation if he had an AR. And the reason for that is because he can't miss. With an AR, you virtually can't miss in that situation. And that is what is great for this competitive thing. The kills aren't supposed to be easy. A lot of people have this conception that, everybody should be able to kill everybody equally. And that's really not the way it should be. I've been playing this game for 10 years. I've been playing and I've been grinding to get my shot better. I should not be able to be killed just as efficiently by somebody who's been playing for a week than somebody who's been playing for 10 years. Now, of course, the people who have been playing for longer usually do better with other weapons, but still, the AR is, it's just a little overpowered. It makes things too easy, and people are having too easy of a time getting a lot of kills. And if you don't think that I'm being fair there, well, you can see right here where 343 in their official statement talking about the summer 2017 feedback, their updates, in their notes here, they talk about the assault rifle. They say players have been providing feedback that the current gameplay around the assault rifle has become unfit for competition. After extensive review, we have determined that the data supports this feedback. The assault rifle's effectiveness is similar across a wide range of skill levels, which is not intended. As a result, the weapon will not be featured in competitive play during the summer 2017 season. They say we're quickly evaluating ways the best ways to update the weapon and reintroduce it into competitive play once the weapon has been retuned and tested. I don't believe it'll make a return, honestly. I think these settings are going to do really well. But the moral of the story here is that they said the assault rifle's effectiveness is similar across a wide range of skill levels, which is not intended. This is the argument I constantly see people making, that the assault rifle is good. This is competition we're talking about the competitive settings. This is for the MLG settings. These are the settings they'll be using at the big tournaments. We're not talking about every playlist. I don't have a problem. Keep the autos in every playlist. I don't care. The competitive settings should have their own separate settings. They should be isolated. This should be its own settings. Its own playlist is exiled from the rest, and that is what people grind to play at the competitions. That's the way it's been in every other Halo. So the assault rifle's effectiveness is similar across a wide range of skill levels, which is not intended. What does that mean? Well, it's exactly what I was just saying. People who pick up the game a week ago have, basically the same AR that I do. The only difference is a like strafe that I can do that I will probably have a more experienced, better strafe, but otherwise their AR shot's going to be just as good as mine because the AR is so easy to use. There's no huge skill gap with the AR. It's like if everybody had shotguns on their back. Everybody's shotgun is going to be just as good as everybody else's shotgun. There's really not a way to be better than somebody else with a shotgun. I guess there is, but you see the point. The difference between being better with somebody with a shotgun versus the difference between being better than somebody with a pistol is monumental. And you want to try to support the difference with being better with a pistol because that is going to provide the largest spectrum of skill, where you have the top pros who are way up here, and then you have the newbies who are way down here. And I don't mean newbies as disrespectful. I mean newbies as literally people who just picked up the game. You should not be able to compete with somebody who is a professional player as somebody who just picked up the game a week ago. It just shouldn't happen. And something like this, it says right here, 343 set up themselves, so you can take it up with them. Don't shoot the messenger. The assault rifle's effectiveness is similar across a wide range of skill levels, which is not intended. So that is why it is getting removed. That is why there's a problem. I want to show another example of when I would have died if there was ARs. I mean, this is just more proof in the pudding here. You can see me right here. I'm 2-shot. I'm very low shields and full screen this. I will likely die in the situation if the person that's about to come right here has an AR. But look what happens. He does it. He misses. And I'm able to win that. See, he missed a melee, so did I. It was a little awkward, nonetheless. If he had an AR, it would have been the easiest kill in the world. And this is stuff we'll all get used to because of the fact that we will no longer rely on our ARs. But, I mean, you can see that it's not as easy as it used to be, and that's the point. It's not supposed to be so blisteringly easy to where you can just pick up the controller and get easy kills on everybody. Yeah, I was 2-shot, but that's the point. Telefono there had to clutch it, and he just missed shots. I missed some shots too. It was weird. But a lot of the thing that people are worried about also is that we're going to have these like crazy close range encounters. That situation was a little bit different because I was in a place he wasn't ready for. But you can see that that was weird, and I don't prefer to have situations like that. So if I had an AR, though, I would be in that position all the time, crouching around the corner and waiting for him to walk around. as people do right now, because that's part of the meta, is that you stare at your radar with your AR out. This situation was awkward. If I had known that he was going to be there, I was playing no radar just for this experiment, but if I had known he would be there, I'd position myself differently. So you can quickly find that people aren't going to prefer to be in these close range, like, CQC, close quarters combat. That's not going to be the way that Halo is going to be played like it used to be. That's not what people are going to prefer. People don't want to do that in older Halos. They never did, and now I think that'll kind of revert back to that style. And the only reason that was so popular was because of the AR. So I think this is a really, really good change, and I don't know. I understand some of the frustration, I suppose, but it's a little disheartening to see like such a negative reaction to what I believe is such a positive change for the game. As I mentioned, it's going to get rid of a lot of close quarters combat, and it's going to increase the skill gap by a lot. Once again, these situations that I put myself in, or I showed earlier, those are situations that I would have died if there were ARs, and I was able to win those situations because I was hitting my shots and they missed. And those opportunities happen more when you don't have assault rifles. The only reason I won those is because I hit my shots and they missed. They wouldn't have missed if they had the ARs. That's the beautiful thing. There's a skill gap. The better player is going to come out on top of the gunfights most of the time, and that's just a beautiful thing. That's an absolutely beautiful thing. I understand some people don't like change, but this is the way I feel about it. I came up with this analogy. So I don't know where you're from, but for me, it's called soccer. Imagine that for 10 years, soccer has had the same rules, where you're only allowed to use your feet unless you're the goaltender. And then for a year and a half, after 10 years, they changed it to where all of a sudden you're allowed to use your hands. So the hands in this situation are autos, and the feet are just precision weapons, because every other Halo has been precision weapons leading up to this. In the competitive settings, we're only talking about competitive. Now, after a year and a half of hands and feet allowed, they decided that the hands were making it a little bit too easy for some players, and the skill gap wasn't as large, and so they got rid of the hands, and they're going back to just feet. And a lot of people that played with their hands a lot are pretty upset. That's how I see it. That's the best analogy I can give. It's always been about the precision weapons. It's never been about the autos. Autos have been in every Halo, but not in the competitive scene. Too many people think that it's about, like, the competitive had ARs, and it just didn't. There's a reason why the competitive scene wants it to revert back to just precision weapons. A lot of people play very close quarters combat in this game, and that's never been the way it is. And so we're trying to revert back to that. It was a lot more skill-based, individual talent, hitting your shots versus, missing your shots. And that's just the way we're trying to get back to. I think it's going to be a very positive change for the game. Maybe you guys disagree, but I really don't like seeing, well, why don't you just get good and hit your shots? Well, it shouldn't have to come to that. It shouldn't have to, like, I can say that the other way. Why don't you just get good instead of using your AR, you hit your shots? You see, it's the same situation. It shouldn't come down to, well, I had my AR out and you better 5 me or you're dying. Like, it shouldn't give that ultimatum to where, like, every encounter is like, well, you better hit perfect shots. It should be like, how about you hit perfect shots if you want to get the kill? It should be even. It should be up to both players to hit their shots, not one player hitting their shots and the other person just spraying an AR at them. So I don't want to even get into the random bullet spread and the headshot multiplier of the AR, other reasons why they shouldn't be in there. I think autos have some place in competitive, maybe as power weapons that come on, like, tier 2 power weapons, if there's limited on the map. I don't know. I don't want to ramble on for too long, but I hope I could help shed some light on this. I just wanted to explain as nicely as possible why I believe, and why most people believe precision weapons are the way to go for competitive. I guess I don't speak for everybody, but I know that these are a lot of common opinions when it comes to the competitive scene. And I don't mean to disrespect anybody that disagrees. I just want to help enlighten people and maybe change their opinion about it, maybe help them look at it with a little bit of a different perspective. Again, this is only the competitive settings. If you don't want to play that, you don't have to. I just want people to relax a little bit. It's going to be okay. This is why they're changing it. It's not because of any, like, I saw some person accusing it of they're just trying to appeal to the Halo 3 fanboys. It's not. They're just trying to increase the skill gap. It's important that competitive games have a very long or big spectrum of skill. So, all right. I didn't want to have to make this video, but I hope you guys don't hate me. Like I said, don't shoot the messenger, please. It was not my intention to upset anybody. But I'm going to stop now. I will be back with normal videos tomorrow. I will see you guys later.